So one Grand Prix final complete, 2 still to go. Our junior category, the DRS100s, are on the dummy grid and are just about getting themselves ready. And again, no A and B this time. This is everybody together in one final race to see who's going to win round 7 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series DRS100 junior class. It's a first opportunity for the likes of Harry Graham, Thomas Harvey, Nicky Taylor to have a go at Callum Gunning. Gunning will start on the inside of the front row. Thomas Harvey alongside him. But this is different for him. This is drivers that he hasn't had to battle with before. All groups have been tucked away, these drivers, in Group A or Group B. All of a sudden, they're thrown together.
Come on, Dave.
And we get to find out who has the right strategy, who has the right setup, who has the talent to pick their way through 12 minutes plus one final lap of this final, of this Grand Prix final for the DRS 100s. And we have got a problem on the dummy grid. Just looking over now at the 100 of Thomas Davison. So Thomas Davison, who was one of the drivers up and around the sharp end of things, he was certainly on one of the front few rows, and he's still parked on the dummy grid at the moment. I'm just looking down now, they're trying to get him restarted.
Grid's going to come now.
So as we look to the grid, we have got a full complement as Thomas Davison has rejoined. He was meant to be on 6 on the grid. He will rejoin and scamper after everybody else. Callum Gunning then, courtesy of, well, winning everything pretty much, is on the inside of the front row. Thomas Harvey, his main challenge alongside. Dylan Reid hasn't had the pace to challenge Callum Gunn as yet. Can he find something extra in this Grand Prix final? Harry Graham alongside him. George Whitehouse and Thomas Davison on row 3. Joe Sheppy and Nicky Taylor on the outside of row 4. Row 5 is Alicia Palmovsky. What a great recovery from her in the pre-Grand Prix. Jack Rigg is alongside. Samuel Cunliffe needs to try and get some championship points. 11th he starts, second in the championship at the moment, but with the championship leader sitting on pole, Ben Gartside alongside him. Daniel Holdsworth and Dylan Brearley on row 7, with Rowan Campbell-Pilling and Scott Goldsby on row 8. Row 9 is Luke Wildgoose with Leon Frost alongside, and Charlie Humphries and Carl Lockett. The rest of the 22 drivers are Cody Eustace and Henry Foote. They are the order that they will be in. Now Gunning and Harvey, 1 and 2. They're well formed, aren't they? 22 drivers, all trying to get into that first corner first. Gunning, championship leader. Harvey, one of the chasing few. Who'll be into the first corner first? Harvey's got a decent start, you know, if he can stick it round the outside, he can't. He stays in to second place. Gunning then hits the front. Harvey is in second. There's contact further back. There's a lot of contact further back in the field as well. We'll pick the bones out of that in a few moments' time, but it is Callum Gunning then who leads. Second place, Thomas Harvey, who has gone back. He is the number 1 of Harry Graham in third. Now, this is interesting because these are 2 drivers in behind Callum Gunning that we did not have in the pre-Grand Prix or the heat. They were in different groups. So if these 2 have got the pace, this could be very interesting indeed. What I would say is Callum Gunning's already got himself 5 kart lengths in advantage over Thomas Harvey, and that is very ominous indeed. Through the chicane they come once more, through the hook and down the hill. Let's keep an eye on the distances. So the gap at the moment is 0.6 of a second. So we talked earlier on about the importance of a driver really trying to turn the screw early on in a race if he felt he could break the toe of the chasing pack. Now, is that exactly what has happened here? Is that what Callum Gunning has managed to do against the likes of Harvey and Graham. The gap was 6/10. This gap is going to be really important now. I think, if anything, Harvey's coming back at him. I think Harvey's had a really good lap here. I think Harvey is coming back at Callum Gunning. It was 6/10. It's now 4/10. He has come back at him. He's taken 2/10 of a lap last time round, and this is something that Callum Gunning hasn't had to deal with today. He hasn't had to deal with two drivers behind at a similar pace who are able to chase him down. Now he's got to face a different set of questions in the form of Thomas Harvey and Harry Graham. Number 8 and number 1 are stalking now Callum Gunning. This is a different situation. He's led out front. Now he looks over his right shoulder and he sees the white helmet of Thomas Harvey. The gap is visibly less now. It's a couple of kart lengths. It's about to be a 3-kart battle for the lead, this, between Gunning, Harvey and Graham. Dylan Reid is in 4th place, but under a lot of pressure from Nicky Taylor. Now Taylor is the other one that we were interested in. If Taylor could get past Reid, has Taylor got the power, got the pace to get onto the back of this battle, especially if the front 3 start to scrap over the lead here? Leaders then pop out of Chandler's. They go through the Dell chicane, and Harvey just stalks the back of Callum Gunning. They stream down into the Raymond's corner, the right-hander. There's a long way to go here, but this is set up very nicely indeed. The 3 of them shuffle through the chicane at the hook and then go down towards Surtees. This left-hander, how close Harry Graham is to the back of Harvey. So if Harvey can't get on terms with Chandler, you might think that Graham might fancy his chances at having a go. The battle behind them is between Reid and Taylor, and Reid is just holding Taylor back a little bit, you sense. The gap between them and this battle for the lead is about 10 kart lengths now. There's Dylan Reid, 16-year-old. I think Taylor needs to put a move on him as quick as he can. I think Taylor needs to find a way past Dylan Reid if he's got any aspirations to try and get to this front 3, especially when they might start to slow each other down, when they might start to squabble, when they might start to trip over each other. Taylor needs to try and find a way through, but he actually hasn't got the track position to do it, has he? He's a couple of kart lengths behind Dylan Reid. He's doing a pretty good job, it has to be said. Look a little bit further down this field. Gartside is 6th, George Whitehouse is 7th, Sam Cunliffe back in 8th place. He's made a couple of places. Then Dylan Briley, Scott Goldsby. So Briley 9th, Goldsby 10th, 11th is Daniel Holdsworth. The gap between 1st and 2nd is a 10th of a second. That's as close as it's been for a couple of laps with no change at the front. They're just sussing each other out at the moment, just working out the best way to find a way through. We're looking now at Ben Gartside. He's in 6th place at the moment. Gap back to Cunliffe, who's under a little bit of pressure from Briley. And here are your front 3, and this is as close as he's been, isn't it? This is as close as Harvey's been. He's within touching distance. Will he have a look into the braking zone? No, he doesn't, but he is really tucked up in behind Callum Gunning now. The 3 of them stream over start-finish. There's nothing doing in the hook. He just needs to stay on the coattails through the left-hander as they drop down now into Surtees. This long left-hander seems to go on for ages before you have to drag the kart to the left-hand side and flick it into the right-hander. They then go down into this Lancaster curve, long right-hander. Lots of sweeping corners here, just to keep you honest throughout the lap of this Llandow circuit. Now the Dell chicane. Will he get a good drive out of here, Harvey? Under the back bumper of Callum Gunning. He's not quite close enough this time to find a way through. 6 minutes, half race distance remains. This is going to get tight, this. Into the left then. And back round once more. The gap between first and second, about half a kart length. 1.99 tenths of a second officially. Harry Graham's just dropped off a little bit, hasn't he? He's had a couple of really hot laps and he's just dropped off the pace a little bit. He's just dropped into the 54.7s where the front two are in 54.5. So Graham just needs to find a little bit of pace just to get back on terms. He has actually got the fastest lap of the race so far, a 45.4, but he hasn't managed to do it consistently. Dylan Reid is still fourth. Taylor hasn't got the pace of the front three. In fact, Dylan Reid is starting to come back at these a little bit, so fair play to Dylan Reid. I thought he was holding Nicky Taylor up, but actually he's just done his personal best, a 45.544. And he's starting to edge back towards the front three. And if they do squabble, because if they stay this close, they will squabble. They'll fight over it. They'll have to. These are young drivers who have desire to win races. So if that does happen, don't rule out Dylan Reid, because he's still just about within touching distance, isn't he, in fourth place? And then Nicky Taylor is a further few kart lengths behind. Where does the move come from Thomas Harvey? Where does he think, right, this is the place where I'll find a way through? I don't think he gets close enough when he comes through the Dell chicane and onto the final straight before Raymond's. I think his best place, just looking at how close he gets, I think his best place might be on the way into the hook. Over start-finish line, he looks really lively going into the hook. I think a little lunge into there might be Harvey's best chance. Graham now shuffles back up towards the back end. Let's have a look at the lap times as they come back through. He's not close enough this time, but I think this is the place into the hook where he's been quickest. Thomas Harvey. Last time round, Harvey lost 2 tenths on Callum Gunning. 45.5 for Gunning, 45.7 for Harvey. He'll know exactly where he lost that time as well. They are well tuned, these drivers. They know exactly where they make a little mistake, exactly where they've made that slight error. They know exactly where they've got to rectify next time round. Gunning is doing well under the pressure. He's got 3 minutes to go here. Gunning, the 15-year-old, leads this race. He's spent a lot of time today looking at an empty track. Now, this is close from Harvey. This is where I think he's got a chance, in here. I think it might be worth him just showing his nose to Callum Gunning in there. He gets a good run over start finish. I think he gets close enough anywhere else. We've not seen evidence that he gets close enough for the rest of the lap, really. Unless it's going to be a fairly desperate lunge somewhere, really late on the brakes. Sure where he's really managed to get close enough. He's always been that half a kart length that he is now behind. He's got a narrower line through the exit of the Dell chicane as well. Again, half a kart length off as they go through the paddock corner, the Raymond's corner. This is where I think he's quick, in there. But again, Gunning just managing to hold him off. What a watching brief from Graham. When does Graham get impatient? He's got 2 minutes. So when does Harry Graham think, you know what, I'm going to have a go at Harvey because I want to have a go at Gunning in these last couple of laps? And he's shown that he's got the pace as well. So when do they get impatient here? A little bit wide from Gunning, won't cost him too much, maybe half a tenth. Harvey, there's no margin for error. Reid is still in fourth place, he's doing 45.7, so he's not really close enough anyway. There's the battle with Gartside and Whitehouse. That's the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Let's keep an eye on the front three. We don't want to miss this potential overtaking manoeuvre. We don't want to miss this challenge for the lead. Callum Gunning still holds it. He can't make any mistakes here. He's got to be absolutely line perfect, Callum Gunning, because Harvey is close, as close as he's been for a lap or two. Absolutely together through Chandler's. And now he's really on the tail, isn't he? If he can put 2 good corners together now, he'll have a chance into the final corner. He is close. He's as close as he's been. He's right under the coattail. Here's your chance. And down the inside goes Harvey. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Harvey hits the front for the first time. Gunning now is demoted to second. It was wonderfully done. We said half a lap ago he was as close as he had been. He needed to put a couple of corners together at the Del chicane. He did that perfectly. And then he pulled out and found a way through. And for the first time this weekend, Callum Gunning has a different puzzle to solve. He's got to find a way now past Thomas Harvey, who's waited and been patient and calculated and cool and calm and collected. Now he leads the race with 1 lap to go here. Down towards Raymond's then. I don't think he needs to defend. Gunning's not quite close enough. One more time. Has he measured this to perfection? I tell you what, he has. He's done this to absolute perfection because he's driving away at the front of this field. Gunning's got no reply. Gunning's got to worry about Graham now for second place. This has been measured to perfection by Thomas Harvey. It's a wonderful drive, as good as you will see from that young man, because he has timed this to absolute point perfect. He's found a way past, and now he doesn't have to defend because he's found enough pace, he's found enough drive to give himself 4, 5, 6 car lengths of advantage. He's going to win this race. Harvey's going to win it, doesn't need to defend. Second place, that's the battle now, because second place is Graham, and Gunning has gone from first to third. Graham finishes second. The race winner is Harvey. Gunning in third, and to be fair to those two, they did a top job on Callum Gunning. They set him up an absolute treat, Callum Gunning, and Harvey is the benefactor. Harvey wins the race. Graham is second, Gunning is third, Reid is fourth, Nicky Taylor finished in fifth. The battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th was won by Gartside in 6th, Whitehouse in 7th, Cunliffe in 8th, and Brealey in 9th. That is a masterclass, let me tell you. An absolute masterclass in racecraft from young Thomas Harvey. Graham played his part as well. Fair play to Callum Gunning as well. He's led for a long time, but he didn't have the answer to the questions asked by Thomas Harvey, and Harvey wins the Grand Prix for the DRS 100s.